Good afternoon, Ronald E. McNair Elementary family, scholars, and staff. My name is Mr. Chow, as many of you all know, and I'm very humbled and honored to be your scholars' school counselor for this academic year. And remember, at McNair, we truly believe in success for all. Now, this is not one of those Chow Time monthly video newsletters. We have the next edition coming out in October. If you haven't had a chance to check out the first edition on excitement and how excitement can help your scholars succeed this year, check that out. That was a couple weeks ago. But really, what I wanted to do a video for this week was a couple fold. The first thing is because this week we start our Start With Hello week celebration or remembrance, really where we think back and learn from the tragedy of Sandy Hook Elementary in Newton, Connecticut 10 years ago. And then we also think back 2 years ago to what the tragedy was at Uvalde, in Uvalde, Texas at the elementary school. And so Sandy Hook Promise, or the Start With Hello week, really is where schools across the nation, so not just in our county, not just in our state, but across the nation, we stand together united against school violence. And so over this last week, so last week into this week, what I've done is I've gone into each of your scholars' classrooms. I've differentiated, and that's just a big word, meaning made it grade level, age appropriate. Obviously, there's certain details I did not talk to the younger grades about, but really as a family, if you want to talk about with your scholars, even the younger scholars, about what happened, you certainly can. But really what we talk about is, hey, like, what can we do as a school community to help us be safe? So we look at that from a building level and also from an individual level. And the reason also why I want to talk about this, the second fold, is because there's a lot that we see right now within our county, our state, our nation that is influencing and impacting student scholars, especially those who are third, fourth, and especially fifth. And so a lot of that is something that we just want to help the families understand, to empower you all. For myself as a parent as well, it's one of those things that, I would want to know. For me right now, I'm a little bit more aware because obviously I'm in the realm of school counselors. But if I wasn't, I might not know what is going on in our schools. Where are our scholars learning this or doing that? And so there's just a lot of things that we have to be careful of. And as a parent, knowledge is obviously power. So this is part of the reason for why, if you want to call this a school safety video, that can be really just for me helping work with you all in partnership and collaboration. And so families, first and foremost, Start With Hello week, like we mentioned, is to remember the tragedy of Sandy Hook and really Uvalde as well, and all the other school violence that has occurred in our country, unfortunately. But especially with those two, since they were at the elementary level, it's something that we want to be cognizant of. So all of our scholars, we talk through school safety. School safety for us, first things is we all have to work together to see, right? To see something that might not be right. Someone that's walking around outside that we don't know who they are. Maybe we see like an animal outside, like a snake or something. We see it first. So then the second step we've taught all the students is then you need to reach out. Reach out to an adult. Reach out to your teacher. Reach out to a friend and say, hey, we need to go talk to our teacher because there's a snake outside. Or, hey, we don't know who that is. Let's reach out to someone, because what will happen is then that individual will, what we say, start with hello. Right? We will start with hello. Hey, hello, how are you? If it's an individual that's on our campus, we will find and we'll work together to figure out, what are you doing here? More than likely, they're here to fix the building or make our grounds look really pretty, like the lawnmower, like mowing our lawn. But we always want to take the extra precaution as a school to make sure that your scholars are safe. We also talk through things such as, hey, if you see that a door is broken or the door is propped, make sure you reach out to an adult so that we can start with hello or do something. We can get it fixed. We can get something made sure if it's just propped, that we get it unpropped, because you know what? We as a school value your scholar safety. And we know if the buildings are locked and they're locking the right way, your scholars are safe. Same thing with during like fire drills and tornado drills. Work with your scholars and tell them, hey, that's not a time just to laugh or goof around. It's a time to be serious, because we want to, first of all, learn it so that in case we see something, right, we can reach out to an adult, hey, there's a fire, and we start with hello, or we'll go do something, right? We will go do something. We will walk out of the building and make sure scholars are safe, because ultimately school safety is very key, right? Ultimately, if we can protect the school as best as possible, knowing that we're in a pretty good environment, but the more vigilant or the more aware we are, the better and the safer our school will be. And so those are just things that we've talked about with their student scholars. With the upper grades as well, we also spoke through more about what we can do as the older grades to help look out, as well as the more mature scholars in the building, obviously just because they're older in many ways. What is it and what type of environment do we want to create at school? A school that we don't have to worry about violence within it even. And I'm not talking about like gun violence or any of that. I just mean, hey, like when we have arguments, how do we work through those productively? So that's something that we had a conversation with your upper grades. So if you have a scholar in third, fourth, and fifth, that was a conversation that we had with them as well over this last week and change. And so really ultimately comes down to this. Why is it that we stress? Why is it that Mr. Chow went to every single class from pre-K all the way up to fifth grade this past week and a half to talk to your scholars? Is this. Because when your scholar feels safe in the building, when we know that, hey, we're locking down our building as best as possible to keep it safe, that we're doing all the precautions that we need to keep it safe, and we also have this conversation with your scholars, then we know that, hey, they can have the best chance to do the one thing, as all your scholars heard me say, the one thing you are here to do at school is what? Is to learn. For your scholar to learn so that they can go from a student to a scholar. A student who achieves is a scholar, and so that they can become a student scholar. And so that's the one thing they're here to do. Now, on the other side with that as well. So we talk more about like school level, start with hello. The other thing that we want to be very cognizant of right now is a lot of things going around on social media. I'm not one to tell parents, hey, you should or should not have your kid have a cell phone, whatever that might be. But I just do want to make you all aware that there's a lot going on, especially around TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram right now, that these viral tricks or these viral hacks or these viral challenges, they're getting kids in trouble, or they're getting kids hurt, or in some cases even worse. Right? There's a lot of things going on. So we just want to be cognizant as a parent. Here are a couple of challenges that we've been seeing within schools, even in Guilford County schools, not just our school, Guilford County schools as a state, but these are some of the big ones that they told counselors, hey, try to see if you can make your families aware, right? There's this one chip challenge, this Pocky one chip challenge. That is designed for adults, and it's designed to cause really pain and suffering. It's one chip that is flaming hot. It's the spiciest thing you'll probably ever eat. And really, it has a chance that you can go and have a heart attack if you have it. I tell people, I did it once for a charitable contribution to raise money for a senior trip, for high school senior trip. And so I actually had to sign a waiver that said if I had a heart attack, or if I had a seizure, or if I had needed medical assistance, that I could not litigate against or go after the organization that I was doing it. Now, granted, I did it because I'm an adult, and I said, you know what, I want to do it for good cause, and it was to raise money. But I tell kids, I was like, I'm an adult. You guys should not be touching any of that. And also, it's just not designed for kids. Even though you see it on the challenge, or even though it might be funny to watch someone go, right? I was like, that is not what we want to bring into the school. So please don't bring that into school. There's other things that we've seen at school. We've seen the increase of vapes. And I know it sounds crazy for parents of fourth and fifth graders. The number one issue that they are dealing with in the middle schools right now across not just our county, our state, is vapes. And vapes, not necessarily because they're very overt, like bringing in a vape, or I don't know what they look like, but bringing a vape. They're bringing them because they're bringing in what things look like regular school items. So please be aware, if your scholar brings home something and you're like, I didn't get them that, just take a look. So what I mean by that, one of the most common ones right now that's hidden is a highlighter. I know this says Sharpie on it, but there's highlighters that don't have any markings on it. They look just like a highlighter. And the reality is they're not a highlighter. When you take the top off, well, this one is a Sharpie, but when you take the top off, it's actually a vape. You can find it because there's a little cartridge here. There's water bottles. I know it's not necessary. The reason why I like these wide mouth water bottles is because you can't necessarily do it. But the water bottles with the little straw attached to it, there's ones that have a cartridge. And in the cartridge, instead of being like a filter or something, it's a vape. And so that's something that you just have to be careful. And again, if your scholar is caught with a vape, there are serious consequences that the county has given us that we have to deliver to your scholar. And so that's a couple of those ways that we want to make sure that we're aware and have that conversation, because for fifth grade scholar families, when you guys promote to middle school, Your scholars may or may not see this regardless of what middle school they go to. So it's something that we want to be cognizant or vigilant of as well. The other thing that we want to talk about with school safety and these viral challenges is there's these challenges that go around like, hey, slap your teacher challenge. Please, 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 please tell your scholars, do not put your hands on not just another scholar, but don't put it on a staff, right? There's obviously consequences attached to that. How I framed it to third, fourth, and fifth grade scholars were, that is like if someone said, and if you're a parent, I was like, if someone said, hey, go to your mom and slap your mom, right? And I'm like, and I asked any of the kids, would any of y'all be okay with that? Probably not. And so more than likely, right? Like, we don't want that. So please tell your kids, please do not, right? I know they make it look funny. Oh, this teacher, blah, blah. And it's the reaction. It's the reaction that they want. But please don't do that, because there's consequences there too. And ultimately too, that impacts a relationship no matter what happens. That always impacts the relationship between you and your trusted adult in the building, which is your teacher, right? It impacts how your teacher then can have a relationship, or another teacher can have a relationship. So please do not touch another staff member or another scholar. All right. There's another one that says, hey, let's go ahead and just steal something. I think it's called a finesse challenge. It's finessing or taking something that's not yours from a teacher or from another scholar. Please do not do that. All right. You wouldn't want your own stuff being taken, or like a thing from your lunchbox or something else there. Again, we are going to have consequences from there. You might lose out on certain privileges, right? You might lose out on certain things that, maybe the rest of your class get privy to or get an opportunity to. And so please talk to your scholars. Hey, right? If it's not yours, don't take it, right? Continue to go through that. And then the last one that we see a lot of right now within the schools is just go into school and just act a fool and break something, right? Break a desk, break a chair, break a bathroom stall. Please don't do that either. I know it seems counterintuitive, but again, this is what's viral on TikTok, and then kids record it, or somehow they find a way to record it, even on a school iPad. And they said, hey, like we got it, right? And here's the thing. Ultimately, with all of it, it impacts the safety of our school. When we talk about Sandy Hook and what we're trying to do as a school level to make sure that your scholars are safe, the one thing that we can't control is what they see outside of school. So let's work together as a school, as the family of these scholars, and let's partner together to make sure, hey, what your scholar sees and what they bring to the school is safe. And also from a school level, we'll make sure that, hey, the school is a safe place for your scholar ultimately to what? To come to school, not to do these crazy challenges, not to get themselves into trouble, but they come to school to learn. So that they can learn, that they can grow, that they can achieve, and they can do what they want to do when they grow up and do more than they could ever imagine. And the only way they're going to unlock their potential is to be able to learn and to grow and to achieve. And so that's ultimately why we want to talk through all this safety. And again, I've talked to all your scholars and their classes from pre-K all the way to fifth. And the reason, again, is this. Ultimately, we do truly believe in success for all. And the only way we're going to succeed academically, behaviorally, and with your scholars' attendance is for them to stay safe. And so that's kind of the reason why I want to do this video. If you have any questions, please reach out. We'll continue to have that conversation. A couple big things is tomorrow is Start With Hello Week's Unity Day, if you want to call it that, where everyone in the school, and I'll post that in this post, on this dojo post, will wear green. So we will all wear green in unity and solidarity against school violence. Unity Month and Anti-Bullying Month is coming in October. We'll talk more about that. We'll have a big thing that we'll do as a school level for that. But right now, tomorrow, wear green. Encourage your scholars to wear green. And if you have any questions about the school safety stuff, please let us know. You can reach out to Dr. McCain. You can reach out to Mr. Hurtado. You can reach out to myself. If we know, we can let you know. If we don't, just let us know. But hopefully this helped you all, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. All right. Bye-bye.